Thank God. So much complications earlier, but hey, we knew we're getting over it. Manifest and all that doesn't work. Let's go. Fair use.
Someone told me back there that it was going to work. Why would I move when God does something back into fear? And what's happening is when God blesses you, we got the house. Then what you do is you be like, oh no, the bills is higher. What's going to happen? And you...
So many people do that. Imagine they do that with a car, especially. They'll be like, oh my God, the brakes are high. $3,000 brakes? Yes, it's a freaking Benz. This is a BMW. You gotta be used to that. Oil change, like, expensive, you know, like, and with a supercar, we don't gotta talk about the price of it, like, we know. Like, they want super this, but they don't want to pay super money.
Back over into fear. He brings you to another place and provides for everything you need, and you're out here in faith. And then one little storm come up. You just start backpedaling. Maybe God didn't say it.
One little thing, like, for example, if you, let's say, you find out like you gotta pay for the brakes and rotors. And you find out that's around maybe 5 to 6K. And you get scared.
I'm just trying to give you a picture of what you live.
We know this game.
You can be mad at me if you want to, but I'm trying to practically see that maybe God can work in maybe faith. The question you should ask yourself all week is, where do I put my pillow? In this situation, where am I putting my pillow? In faith or fear?
Hey, where are you gonna put your pillow at? Faith or fear? Faith. Of course, we know that, but a lot of people, when it comes down to it, they'll put it right into fear. So it's persecution.
You gotta understand that the spirit that God has given us is not one of fear. Look at 2 Timothy 1:7. It says, for God has not given us a spirit of fear or timidity, but he's given us power, love, and self-discipline, or a sound mind. Somebody just needs to stay in faith. Say, I choose faith.
Hey, I choose faith.
Say it like you mean it. I choose faith. So I'm about to set some people free right now.
Or not even have said that.
I want you to hear
because I got so much faith.
The
when you don't have faith, it's hard for you to actually walk in it.
Of being 100%
Can't fake it.
sure something is God is a lie.
Hey, this is big.
Because most of you are paralyzed because I want to know it's 100% God. Even when pastors and ministers, they're going to probably call me and text me because they don't want me to tell the common people this. But I'm about to tell you all our secrets. When somebody says, I knew it was God that told me to write down the Spirit Bank of Vincennes, that's a lie.
Yep. You don't know.
Maybe with God.
I've had this plenty of time with, even right now, my vision. I'm looking at that right now on the wall. My car. My first car was crazy. I spoke that into existence. Everything on it. My next visions in life, I literally spoke everything on that. And it's about to happen. But I don't praise the source. The resource, I praise the source, which is God. And you constantly gotta check yourself. Because you gotta know, like, look, you never gonna know that you're never gonna be 100% sure to what your vision really is, because God wants you to do the rest.
And this is where you have to get beyond. Can God use just your maybe faith?
Oh, look, this is the same video, so this is good.
So will I ever be sure that the business is going to work? No. You have to hear from God, and you have to put your faith at 51%. I'm no longer in fear, and I'm no longer paralyzed in indecision.
Yep.
I have stepped over.
Instead of being stuck in indecision, and fear, cross over and come to faith. Even if you're 51%, you're not indecision, you're not in indecision, and you're not in fear. You're at 51% in faith. And that's all God is asking. Is that hard to really ask for? Come on.
And I have to believe that was what David had when he went to face Goliath that nobody else had. Trained soldiers are standing here in fear. And all David did was not step to 100% sure that it was going to happen. 51%.
Just think about that situation. Can you really step up to a giant with a freaking slingshot? You would want an AK-47 if anything. Like, I know I would be like, Lord, I hope this don't miss. And I hope it kills first shot. Cause this man will try to murk you.
Today, I'm asking God to do in you what he did for the woman with the issue of blood. The woman who had dealt in fear from what the doctors had said and from what everybody had given her that report. She spent 12 years trying to get healed. And what ended up happening in that moment, that she heard Jesus was in the vicinity. She didn't have faith. She wasn't 100% sure. She said, maybe if I just touch the hem of his garment. Maybe if I do what nobody else is doing. Maybe if I get close enough to him. He don't even have to pray for me. He don't even have to take me to a side room. It's not even about what he does. It's just, I just need to touch him. And this woman...
I'm sorry, I've still not ate after 2 egregious workouts. But anyway, that's the main point. Maybe God can do it, but you won't know until you put your faith in it. Oh shit. You won't know until you put your faith fully in it. That's what he's saying. Put this down a little bit. Maybe. Alright.
Her faith probably didn't get her whole body up there because she was pushing through people. People who didn't believe it could happen. Because she said, if I could just stretch my faith out and just get my mind beyond the halfway point. Her whole body probably wasn't there. But if I could just get my thoughts beyond mine. If I could just...
If you could have your mindset on it. Wow. That's how much faith could just change a situation. This lady is crippled. And she was so thirsty to go to Jesus. Who would really fight through the crowd and think that they just by them trying to touch him, they would get saved? Only people with faith.
That God could do it. And she touched 12 people.
Yeah.
Oh my God.
Oh, this is lady faith
I
now.
better lose weight from this. And they're rowing. But because Jesus went to pray and prepare himself spiritually, he walked to where others rowed.
Think about that. He prepared himself spiritually, the one and only God, Jesus. So he like supercharged himself, basically. He's praying to God like, Lord, I need the power, and blah, blah, blah. And this would give him that strength. And he goes out there on the water and defies all laws and physics and everything. And does something that you would never think you could ever do because you don't have faith. I'm telling you. When it comes to faith, you gotta be insane. Pretty much. For God. That's how crazy you was. Remember, Jesus was a regular human. God in human form.
How does that apply to me, Pastor Mike? Some of you are so frustrated because you think you've missed your season. Because God's had you in a season of consecration and prayer and fasting and all these other things. And while everybody's expending their energy in relationship,
I'm not gonna lie, sometimes it happens to me where I'm like, hey man, I feel like I'm just stuck here, not really going anywhere, doing videos, you know, like those. And you think like, oh, like, is it worth it? It really is, honestly. I mean, where else could I really be right now? At a job that I don't like, getting paid, but I don't like. That doesn't even feel right. Thank God, honestly. And watch what you're about to say is so true. Meanwhile, people are gonna be rowing to their destination. Meanwhile, you walk through one door and you end up where they been rowing forever to get to.
out here rowing, I'm out here with my boo. There'll be another one next month. Out here rowing, missing pieces of yourself. Out here trying to network.
That's true.
God says if you would spend time in the presence, He said I can open up one door that'll allow you to be at the same place as people who've been rowing for you. Oh, y'all don't hear me. He said I can open up one door.
One door.
And what happens is,
God doesn't have to defy laws, obviously, by walking on water. He literally. Meanwhile, you're like, damn, I'm so far behind. 5 years go by, 8 years, 10 years, whatever. And you're like, I'm just so. Next thing you know, God gives you that one opportunity, door open, walk right through it, boom! You further than everybody else you ever even imagined. Oh, sorry. Kick the camera. That's why I can't get. God gonna bless me to get a little camera to be able to motion on its own. But yeah.
we find out that when Peter steps off the boat, he has a moment of doubt and he starts sinking.
See?
Why?
Doubt.
Because what happened is Peter saw Jesus do something publicly, but he didn't prepare the same way privately.
He didn't pray and
So Peter was
up.
ready for the front side of the blessing to walk on water, but he wasn't prepared for the back side of.
People ready for the front side of a blessing, but they're not ready for what comes with the next, what comes with it. It's like when you go into the NBA. People want to go to the NBA. People want to do that, but are they ready to do the work that takes for it? All them lonely nights at the gym, cold, tired. You got money, but you know you got to still get your work done because that's your job too. Similar. When you got to pray, you got to do all this, all behind the scenes, pray, fast, everything. And then meanwhile, people want to be in your spot, but they don't want to do what you do. People always do
blessing,
that.
which was a moment of doubt. And many of you are like, God, why don't you put me in? I can preach better than Pastor Mike. I can sing better than Destiny. I can administrate better than Bree. He says, because you're ready for the front side of the blessing, but the back side of the blessing will kick your butt.
Yep. Because that's so true. Because we will be ready for everything but the work that's put in. Says a lot. But hey, thank you for watching this video, and it was a great one.